He look good. That's like that nigga say. He try to say he ain't gay. That nigga, that nigga definitely. We rolling too. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Opinions Alike. It's a show that's based on the opinions of two. I'm Mr. Moetown Lee. My left-hand man that's on my right.
What's up with you? I'm Bear.
Bear what?
Uh,
Seal. You just gonna be Seals
just
today?
Bear. I'm just Bear. Yeah, Bear Seals. What up, y'all?
I like
Mr. Moetown Lee.
Left hand man, Mr. Bear Seals, straight off the streets of College Park.
Welcome back to Opinions Alike.
This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion.
Yeah,
This is
Bear
my
Seals. What up, y'all?
We ain't gonna call him. You know what? He saying he don't like it.
Yeah, Loke might come out today. Loke might come out today. I'm kind of pissed a little bit.
What happened?
I ain't really kind of pissed. I'm just paying attention to what's going on because I keep hearing little rumblings about this, about my bro Tip and little nephew. You know what I mean? You know, for me, the whole family, that's family to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like just seeing how what 50's mode of operation is, you know, with being, to me, in my opinion, as disrespectful as he is, being from College Park, growing up in this city.
Hold that.
Yeah.
Because if y'all don't know, two giants, one from New York, one from Atlanta, been going back and forth. I'll give you a brief synopsis of what's been going on. T.I., King of the South, 50 Cent, King of the Trolls, Mr. Get Rich or Die Trying, have been going back and forth. It started out as friendly banter talking about a versus, and it turned into something else. T.I. was on Club Shay Shay, and he was talking about, you know, doing the verses. They mentioned Wayne, and he was like, 50. Let's do a verses with 50. Based on just being fair, T.I. said that they actually had a conversation about doing the verses a while back, and it was kind of agreed that they were going to do a versus. So T.I. mentioned doing the verses, and of course in Curtis 50 Cent Jackson form, he started trolling Tip. Back and forth. Tip, went back at him, but it was kind of like, comedic banter, kind of still focused on doing the verses. And then I think it went left. I think 50 went left, as 50's prone to do. And he mentioned Tip's family, in particular, Tiny, Tip's wife. I personally think it was a line being crossed there, especially because, it wasn't a personal thing. It was just, they were going back and forth about music. And I think that he crossed the line making a joke or whatever it is about Tiny. She had nothing to do with it. It's just two men going back and forth. And I think 50, 50 fashion, he took it left. So that's where we are. There's been some songs, but
I appreciate you giving me that history and background because I'm not really aware of it like that. So you giving me some intel was much needed. And this is like, for me, it could be, a touchy subject, but being from here, being from College Park and representing College Park and being super proud of the community I'm from and being super proud of all the people who are from there, some who have contributed in the entertainment business, and others in other areas that are legendary. There's a very, very close friend of mine who passed away in 2015. Legendary individual. He was my little homie by the name of Troop. And one thing that
rest in peace, Troop.
Rest in
That's
peace,
pretty dope.
to Dog. One thing that my guy didn't play about was his family. He didn't play about my family. And with that being said, there's some things that I can't condone, you know. Tiny Harris is from my community. Before there was a T.I. or a Tip, Tiny Harris, Candy, Escape, those girls represent the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been super proud of these ladies. There are numerous other artists and athletes that come from our community that have done historic things. There are people from our community that have done nothing historic. You still from our community, and I'm happy to be from the same community as you. But one thing Troop would not tolerate is disrespect for his sister, about his mama, on any level, about your mama, about your sister, about your wife, on any level. So seeing somebody not from here take the opportunity to disrespect a queen from my community, it should, in my opinion, my humble opinion, not really into nobody's music and who can rap the best and none of that shit. It should be OGs, low homies, big homies, established rappers and artists coming out the woodworks to condemn him, maybe discipline 50 for this slander and outrageous disrespect to a woman. To a woman. If we don't defend our women, who will defend them? If we don't stand up for we, and I'm talking about a united front, some of you may be cowards, but I'm saying a united front of black men defending and protecting our women. Who are you? Who are you?
So, do you think it is? Clearly you think Fifth went too far, but do you now think like it's fair game? Because in Tip's rebuttal, he mentioned that Fifth was upset with Puff because Puff ran through his broad. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, taking it back to street culture, right? This is rap. So going back to street culture, and we also want to dive into like who will say something to Fifth. But going back to street culture, you know, women, children, parents, that was just off limits. I don't know if necessarily with the younger cats, if it's so much off limits as it was growing up when we grew up, but they were always off limits. Even if I caught you, I had a problem with you and I caught you when you was with your girl or your kids or your mama, pass. You know what I mean? So do you think it has changed, or do you think it's obviously you think it's still off limits?
Well, it may have changed. I think that 50 might be encouraging people to cross boundaries just because of his actions. Now, it's acceptable. It's still not acceptable. I don't know I don't care how many people do it, it's still not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. And at the end of the day, this is the thing, you know. And mind you, I don't listen to the music. I'm not sitting down listening to Tip shit. I ain't sitting down listening to 50 shit. I'm a fan of 50 Cent's first album, second maybe. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of what G Unit and 50 Cent and Dr. Dre and all that. I play that shit. Like, it's going to turn me up. And Tip is a personal friend and homie of mine, period, you know. So with that being said, and I don't even know if this just is a marketing scheme.
I don't think it's, well, you know Tip way more than I do, right? I know Tip as a fan of music, as a musical historian in and passing, but I do know about him is I don't think he ain't really about no games. Like, I think it's the jokes is jokes. I think if it like now it's like I don't think it's about no marketing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's about marketing because like if it was them back and forth and like when he called him a rat or whatever, he had passed that. Like he can deal with you dissing him. As a family man, and we seen his family on the front line from T.I.'s family values, and we saw this. Like, you know, we've seen over the years of people, even when Hit was at his apex of his career, and people were like, "Man, why you with?" And like, man, and he would always take offense, like, "Hey, hold up, don't talk about mine." Like, you know what I mean? This, you know. So my perception of Tip is, you know what I mean, he loves his family and he will protect them to the fullest.
My thing is, Tip should not be standing on the front line alone when we're talking about our queens, when we're talking about our women, when we're talking about the mother of our children. He should not be standing on the front line alone. There should be an incredible show of force, period. No different than if someone said something about a particular religious group or a particular culture of people. People get canceled, and it takes a group of people to cancel a person. It takes a united front of, hey, bro, you went too far, and you're going to pay for this. And if that means not supporting your creative endeavors, not supporting your TV shows, not supporting, but also let's sit down as men and have a conversation, bro, because you ain't now one of you too big to get put in check, period.
I agree that he went too far, but in true 50 passion, this isn't the first time he went far.
Yeah, because people keep accepting it, and it's just entertainment to people, and they do not recognize or don't even care how it affects people's lives as long as it ain't them. And I think that's my issue. As long as it ain't affecting you personally, it's just entertainment for you. But when it hits your doorstep, you're going to be looking for somebody to support you in your cause. So at the end of the day, you know, it's a lot of strength in Atlanta in the music business. It's a lot of influential people in Atlanta, from Atlanta, in the music business. It should be a unified front. I don't think Tip, and I wanted to say something else, you know, I don't think he should have to, even though he will, without a blink of an eye, no hesitation, but people need to feel the full effect of, you don't come fucking with our women, period.
I mean, but
or children, period.
I don't know if that's going to happen because
it ain't.
Because last time that T.I. had a rap battle,
but is this a rap battle?
I mean, I'm just saying a battle with a rapper. So
okay.
But last time he had a battle with a rapper. Now, not Lil Flip, but when him and Gucci was going back and forth, Gucci was mentioning his wife. A lot of people thought it was off limits, but they were like, all right, this is kind of like on par with who Gucci was at that particular time. Mm-hmm. You know, I personally, do I think Fifth crossed the line? Yes. I think that even though it's in 50 troll repertoire of what he does. I think he crosses the line on a bunch of a bunch of different things. And musically and business, let me paraphrase it, but I would say I respect Fifth as far as his, what he's done in music, what he's done in business. I don't, necessarily respect some of the things. Like, I don't respect dissing somebody's wife, but even before that, I don't personally like how he treats, his son in the public eye. I just don't, I'm against family beef in public eye. Like, if you got an issue with your homie or your own son or something, like, I just don't like it. And for me, I can't really I wouldn't necessarily be friends with anybody. Like, I love you to death. But if you had an issue with Joe to where you like, not a father issue. If you had an issue with one of your kids, like, man, fuck them niggas, I would have to look. I'm like, I would lose respect for you because I'm like, I'm never gonna be like F them. You know what I'm saying? Like, them still my nephews, but I'm looking at you like, damn, dog. It got to that point to where, like, you like, man, I ain't. What could?
That's a tough one.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, but what could your kids and outside of, like, I don't even know if it's like, murdering or whatever, but like they stole something from you, that can be forgiven. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, but like to just publicly be like, man, I ain't rocking with him.
And what I was saying about it being a tough one, having an older son that's, well in his 30s, it's like certain things, you have to, as a parent, have to become or grow into the maturity and the patience of allowing your kids, even as adults, to figure some shit out on their own. And sometimes y'all gonna have opposing views and make opposing decisions, and it's a tough one. But publicly,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
that's the fuck.
Like, you've, with you and your oldest son, you've had, like, y'all have had issues, but it's been within the house, basically, amongst the family. You never went online and like, man, I just, like, damn, is this where it came to? Like, is this where it came to? So
I come from and I probably would have never, challenged my father or stepdad, for any reason, to a physical confrontation. But at the end of the day, like, shit, we got a little backyard back there if you want to get down, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, for me, our kids just have to learn the lessons the way that they learn the lessons. And I realized, even for my nephew, and I call King nephew, he been out there doing shit that I'm like, Lord, please protect, nephew, even if that protection is from him being protected from himself. But I could empathize or sympathize with him defending his mother's honor that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that touched me. And I'm not, this conversation or these comments or this perspective that I'm sharing is not from an emotional place. It's more so from who are we as men in our community, from Atlanta, West Side, South Side, East Side, Decatur. Like, we have to protect and defend our women so that they feel safe from someone who might not have the morals or character or integrity. And you got to keep that shit in check, bro. You got to keep it in check. That ain't what we doing.
I mean, I agree. I agree. I think it crossed the line. I also think that the way Tip is, handling it, doing the bars, coming back, and let's just talk. I mean, talking about the music, me personally, like, if you're going off their catalog, they had a pretty much even catalog. as far as verses, I actually think Tip has a more extensive catalog than Fifth. And I think Fifth probably knew and knows that, and that's why that's what the trolling came in. I think that T.I. is a far better rapper or lyricist. If we're just talking about like lyrics, Tip's rap was some of the best of them. As far as lyrics, he's rapped with Jay-Z, he's rapped with Eminem, he's rapped with Kendrick, he's rapped with Killer Mike, he's rapped with 3 Stacks and Big Boy. Like he went toe to toe with some of the best.
That's your area of expertise. I don't even pretend to even. Honestly, I don't even pretend to even care about who raps the best.
Oh no,
at all.
Oh, no. Lyrically, listen, man. I tell anybody, man, he got one of my top 5 verses. That second verse on "I'm Serious," he was busting. I told him like to play me, baby. Hey, he gonna need a track from God featuring Jesus and Jay-Z. And shout out to Tip, man. Shout out to KP. Even if it was inadvertently, man, like this is a hell of a setup for the album. This is going to propel the album. I think, he has a dope single. I think it's like, he's moving up the charts, close to being number 1. Like he's moving with that. The diss songs he came out with, I think it's an amazing setup for him. Shout out to Tip and they hold, and KP and all of them, man. But
no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, but
I guess that's the old school way.
That is definitely the old school way. But I don't think that. They'll never really probably meet up. But I just know that,
Yeah, but the thing is, if they do, then what damage is done, what collateral damage is had. Like, people really have not learned from words having power. Like, people have really not learned from that once you do something to cause pain to another person, you can't dictate how they receive that or how they heal, or they shouldn't have took it this far and this, that, and the other. You can't dictate how somebody else responds to pain. You don't know how what 50 has said or done to others affects the youngest daughter. You understand what I'm saying? A baby. So at that point, you put yourself in the position like, who should care about how your family is? Mm-hmm. That's why there has to be an organized group of men who can sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, this is not to be tolerated. This will not be tolerated, and this is how we're going to address this. Because I'm definitely not saying taking this shit to the street. Like, everybody involved stands way more to lose. I ain't with that ego bullshit. I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, that's somebody's mama.
So that is, to that, who can be that, like, there's not a voice in music or in the black community right now across the board.
It got to come from us. It got to come from the circle. Like, it's true. Like I said, there's so many artists here, and not to interrupt you, in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And I don't have to call no names. You know who you are. Executives as well as artists. You know who you are.
But I don't think that there's a voice for that both of the, because it's going to be two sides. I don't think that there's a voice to referee or to like sit them cats down. Before, we used, like, all due respect to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he used to be that voice when there were, like, we had some major hip hop conflicts, and they would get involved in kind of, you know, man, listen, y'all brothers XYZ. When 50 and Game had their issue, the nation got involved with, you know, Ice Cube and other people. Like there were the voices, right? Who is the voice? You know what I mean? Like, who is the voice? It's not the, like, you know, we used to have people like, you know, the L.A. Reids and the Russell Simmonses and those kind of people. But now those kind of people, you know what I mean, then went and, you know, doing other things. Who's the voice that these cats actually will respect? Even outside of Fifth and Tip, you know, I think that people run from people are like they shy away from responsibility, you know,
or accountability.
We have a personal friend that's going through, you know, his thing, but he was a voice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, shout out to him and free him and fuck the internet for saying all these kind of things about the brother, where I know for sure he was the voice of reason and people listened to when shit went down.
But to add, I think if anyone can be honest and say that they had a sit down with a certain organization of black men, there would be repercussions to not lining up with what was needed for the entire community. There would be repercussions. There would be some disciplinary actions. If there's no one's being held accountable, they're not going to be accountable, because everybody don't have integrity or character. So there's always a need for some structure. And I'm saying, if there, and that you may be correct, there may not be a voice, but I think that a collective of men should get together and have this conversation. And this is not an ATL versus New York shit. It's not any contempt held towards anybody from New York. This is specifically, I'm from both, yeah. This is specifically about someone who may lack, you know, some character and integrity, or even, for lack of a better word, street code. Like, bro, that's still that man's mama, that's that man's wife, and that's the community of Atlanta and College Park and the whole South Side. That's one of our queens. Just can't attack. Just can't do it. We can't accept it. As men, we can't accept it. And as women too. Y'all should support us defending you. Like, this cannot be just about Tip and Tiny. This has to be about us.
I think that, you know, playing devil's advocate is just, and I agree with what you're saying, but it's, you know, today's, you know, world, today's culture, people tend to, they look into that. Even the way they listen to music and the way they consume things, they look for like the bad and the bull. Yeah. And, you know, pivoting out of that, we should, and that's a question that, you know, can be should be posed. Who are the black leaders? Who is the black voice? Who's the voice that, you know, of the community that people respect, and who can be that? You know, who would you look at like that not only looks at it from, like, you know, the older community, but in betweens in the young community, who still like garners and has that respect. I think people who could have that respect, they kind of fade away from it, right? They kind of fade away from being the voice. I think sometimes maybe Jay has the respect.
Who is Jay?
Jay-Z, right? But I think Jay-Z shies away from, like, I ain't getting involved in that type of shit. Like, you know, whatever. Like, I'm making this money. And I'm not saying he is about money. I'm saying he may conversate and have conversation with certain people behind closed doors, but he ain't, you know, he's like, you know, whatever. So who is that?
As long as they ain't on my doorstep.
Yeah. So who is that person? Now, for y'all, like, who is that person? Who could be that person? If you look at somebody like Barack Obama, who's across the board, who's well respected in the black community, but shit, there's people right now that disrespect him and align with people who disrespecting him. You got to have leaders, man. Like, everybody can't be a leader. You got to have leaders. You got to have a voice. Speaking of leaders, well, I tell you who got a leader.
Ooh.
The conflict in Mexico right now, man. You seen in recently, the leader of the cartel, the Mexican
of a specific cartel.
Yeah, the Mexican,
not the cartel, right? Was it
I
like
don't know.
it's several cartels, but this particular cartel?
I think this the biggest one probably. At
Really?
The time, yeah. I mean, especially with what I'm saying, El Chapo and all them being gone, but like, the Mexican government, the Mexican army, along with ops from, with operations alongside the United States government, they killed a cartel leader. And
they had a bounty on him, right?
10 million.
Mm-hmm. You see, so this is perfect how it goes from the conversation about Tip and 50 into this, because the cartel, that particular cartel, is taking a for real united front on about what happened to their man.
Right.
You feel me?
El Mencho, that's his name.
What happened to their man, everybody is feeling the wrath of that crew, because they came together, because they all together on a united front. And I'm not saying that what they're doing is right. I'm not saying that what happened to El Mencho was right. I have no idea. I'm thousands and thousands of miles away, and my mind ain't even focused on what's going on over there. But y'all took down their man, and they letting you know it ain't just going to be like that easy.
They ain't going. His name was Nemesio El Mencho Asigera Cervantes. He was the head of the Jalisco in Spanish, New Generation Cartel. And these folks
ain't playing the radio
at all. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Like, them folk, hey man, they shutting down. They airports, gas stations. If you're on the streets after a certain time, tourist warnings. It was always, even with the cartels and being prominent, it never really affected tourism. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, let's leave these certain areas alone. Not anymore. They ain't going. The question is, like, historically, like, do you think it's always a good thing of removing the head, removing the leadership, when you bringing down, the cartel, certain gangs, certain communities, certain things? Do you think it's a good thing? Because I think it for the public, it looks like a good thing, right?
For marketing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, look, I'm the DA and I put this person in jail. But what you do is now you're creating chaos, because there is no leader. There is nobody that holds people accountable and be like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Now you got just a whole bunch of people who, like, shit, man, Oh yeah. Unless somebody just there to claim the throne, even in
So it
when you
don't
had
stop nothing, don't change shit, because they've
it
been
makes
doing
it
this.
worse.
They've been doing this since, what's the big man name back in the day from Colombia?
Oh yeah. Castro and them.
No,
Not Fidel Castro.
no, the drug dealer from Colombia.
Nicaragua.
No. See, that's so crazy.
Hold on.
Can't even think of it. Plenty of movies about
Escobar. Pablo.
Pablo. I'll keep taking down these leaders, but the work keep making it. So and there's a demand for it. There's a demand for it.
Man,
I don't know.
listen, man, drugs will never stop. Not in the United States. Drugs will never stop. Why? Because you keep putting it, because my personal thing is the approach is you taking the wrong approach, right? You may stop the cocaine flow, but a drug addict gonna find his high somewhere. Man, listen, I remember, growing up, and moms moved me to a
Say that again.
growing up, moms moved me to a white area. Like,
Oh, mom's moved.
my mom moved. We moved to Cabrillo Beach for a brief period of time, and that was my first time. I saw, I knew about weed and crack or whatever, but that was my first time. I'm going to school and on the school bus, and I'm seeing cats. We in elementary, junior high, and I'm seeing kids get high off like whiteout, aerosol cans, and shit like that. I'm like, hell going on? That's the first time I'm seeing them, they stealing their parents' medicine. I'm like, oh, this what y'all do? Shit. So inevitably, a drug addict gonna find a way to get high.
And a drug dealer, whether that's someone writing your prescriptions,
Right.
or not, they're gonna figure out a way to make some money.
But they found dope in the White House.
Is that right?
You remember that shit? When Biden was president, somebody would in one of the bathrooms, they found cocaine vials in the White House in the bathroom. Somebody had went in there and used cocaine, right? So it's like that shit is in the biggest office in the United States. What make you think that shit not going to be in the community?
Yeah, it's in everybody. Yeah, it's in a lot of people.
So
A
the
lot of
approach,
people's houses, and it's acceptable day-to-day activity for a lot of people.
right? And it's a $1 trillion industry. You know
How
what I mean?
much?
It's trillions of dollars in drugs.
And it won't stop.
Nah, because you got to think about it, man. It's in the distribution, the selling, the court system, the jails, all of that shit is
Making
part
money
of the
from
same
it.
cycle. You know what I mean? So it's like they ain't trying to really stop that shit. They just want somebody that's gonna go along with what they seem like. For instance, like them arresting El Chapo wasn't, necessarily, oh yeah, we got to get El Chapo. We're gonna stop the drugs. They wasn't even talking about stopping the drugs. They was like, we're gonna get him and make it look good. They didn't stop it. You see these cats going off. So it's not, I think sometimes it's not always good to cut off the head of the snake. Sometimes you need to talk to these cats and maybe try to work it out.
Whatever that means,
yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Because you like with gangs and stuff, right? You take away the leaders. Like, for instance, Chicago, everybody would, at one point in time was talking about Chicago this, Chicago that, right? Since Larry Hoover been gone, that shit it ain't been no organization. No leaders. Nobody don't give a fuck what they talking about. And we seen it so, you know what I'm saying? And we seen it so much, you know. We saw it when, you know, look at the civil rights movement, right? When they killed Dr. King and as a leader, they killed King. They killed Medgar Evers. That shit. Malcolm. Ain't never been the same. It's never been the same.
Whether you agree with their ideology or not, like it keeps some structure,
right,
and keeps some discipline in order, because there has to be a mode of operation. You know what I mean? And violence fucks up every business. You know,
and that's the thing, man.
Business, movement, everything. Violence fucks everything up. So, yeah, I think you might have, you know, touched on something that needs to be thought about. But just to think, since Pablo Escobar, you have not eradicated cocaine from America. So what was the point? To make the news and make some people look like they did their job?
Yeah, they never wanted. They never wanted to wipe that shit. They wanted to like control it. That was the whole, you know, Iran Contra and things with Nicaragua and the guns and stuff. Like,
and this is not he or I supporting the use of drugs.
No. I'm anti drugs. I don't do, you know, none of that shit. I'm anti. I see what it. I never did no. I never did no drugs.
Mow with the snow.
Nah, hell no.
Not snow bunnies.
None of that. No snow of no kind. I'm opposed to drugs, man. I seen what it do to the community. I seen what it do to families.
I took 2 Tylenol 2 weeks ago. Boy, I passed out. I was like, "Ooh, this is so good."
Can't do it.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little Tylenol, is it?
I mean, Trump said it was probably. Didn't they? They tried to. Remember, he was trying to. They tried to sue or did something. Him and RFK. They went at Tylenol, and Tylenol sued, and they shut that shit up immediately. They was like, it was trying to blame Tylenol.
Really?
Yeah, they was trying to blame Tylenol
Please
for all.
Don't take my Tylenol away.
They was trying to blame Tylenol for autism and all of that. And it was like, and folks, Tylenol was like, oh, this is what you want to do? Like, we gonna show you. It's crazy because you talk about Trump. He got I think the State of the Union.
No, we can't talk about him.
I'm just saying he got a state.
Can't say his name though, so you're gonna have to bleep it out. Well, not on YouTube.
But we ain't talking bad about. I'm just saying.
No, it don't matter. You can't even say his name. So just beep it out.
So the president has it's a State of the Union tonight. I think politicians on both sides is calling. Democrats are talking about boycotting, but politicians on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are talking about unification. Him giving the speech that hopefully will unify the country and the parties. I seriously doubt that, because just like on the lines of 50, they ain't really his thing. Like, you know, I don't know. I do know that based on his policies, black unemployment is extremely high and is affecting people as near and dear. And I think one of those things that needs to be addressed, the economy, employment. I don't know. The good thing about, not the good thing, but black people have always adapted to tough financial times. Mm-hmm.
And just since you're mentioning this, remember last year when we were taping and you said we had a new president and I clapped my hands. My clap wasn't about applauding or congratulating the new president. My clapping was about, now let's see, black people, what it is you're going to do differently that you're uncomfortable. And does that mean that you will become a closer-knit community now that there is possibly some hardships to come. I think that in finding the blessing in everything, maybe because we're uncomfortable, maybe because there's things that's going on politically in this country that we can say we totally disagree with. Everybody, for the most part, the majority of people disagree with. How does that help us understand that we have the same things that we believe in or that we can stand behind together collectively? You know, we all know that a great deal of us, for lack of a better word, a great deal of us live like kings in relation to how in some third world or other countries, you know, we some of us can't even count the amount of shoes that we have. Yes, I'm pointing at your, yes, your collection of, and you only have 2 feet. So I have no idea why I'm just saying, at the end of the day, my clapping last year was about what are we going to do as a people? What are we going to do? How is this going to impact us? And what's the blessing we can find out of it? So please continue on, because I'd love to see what is transpiring now, what, a year later?
Mm-hmm. I think that what you said, we definitely have to find a way to look at economic growth, especially with African Americans. But we have to first find a way to find a common ground on something and stick with it. We don't, to our detriment, we don't tend to agree on shit, right? And there has to be something one thing that we say,
We can
all
all
right,
agree
we can all agree on. When we talk about, let's just say we all agree that this song is dope. Like, we used to have music. I see when people be like, oh man, we can all agree that Thriller is a great album. Now the way motherfuckers is like, man, Thriller is garbage. You talk
just because they want to say some dumb shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
and I guess everybody has a right to.
They do have. I think they do have a right, but what has been the thing that has been created is in a something for your voice to be heard. You feel like I gotta disagree. Even if you agree, you feel like I'm going to disagree. And then if you keep disagreeing, then you start believing the shit that you saying you disagreeing. And it's like, all right, I believe that life is good. Man, it ain't good for everybody. As long as you're alive, you have an opportunity to create, a better day than your yesterday. No. So we have to find a common ground as Black people. And some of the things, if it's, music, a song that we all just collectively gonna say we like, start there. It's not gonna be religion. It's not gonna be relationships. It's not gonna, I don't know. You know what I mean? We got to get back to Black love. Whether you know what I'm saying, whether you you got a problem with certain relationships, or women got a problem with men got a problem with women, XYZ, we all should agree that we all need love. You know what I mean? At some point in time, we all need some kind of love. Maybe you start there, but I don't know. You know what I mean? We got to get to something. And
So
hopefully,
trust me,
build off that.
If stuff keep getting rough, we're gonna find something to agree upon and come together and stand united about. If shit keep going in the direction it's going,
Right?
And we're seeing all different races, colors, creeds, and religions come together, protesting together against what they feel or believe is unjust actions going on in America. So, I mean, they're gonna keep pushing, meaning the government or leadership will keep pushing us to see what we're gonna do at some point. A guy I know and love, Mr. Render, always says, Killer Mike always says, the government should fear the people, not the people fear the government. Mm-hmm. But so that means there has to be some repercussions for some of this bullshit that you're doing in any, you know what I mean, on any plane.
Speaking of Killer, I had a interesting conversation with Killer the other day, and it was there's a clip going around about a clip with Gavin Newsom sitting down with the mayor of Atlanta, and the mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, and when he was addressing the crowd, basically in the clip is him talking about struggling in school and struggling with reading and having a 980 on his SATs, and he basically told the crowd that he was just like them. Now, taking that clip, and people done ran with it and said, "Oh, since he want to talk to he's talking about struggling with reading because he's talking to black people." That's the clip. Huh? I'm just saying that's the clip.
How it was taken?
Yes, that's the clip, and they like, oh, he basically we're a lot of black people based on the clip taking it like he's saying we uneducated and XYZ. So that was the clip.
Even though there's another clip going around with former President Barack Obama saying that he has sat in rooms with people who have graduated from Harvard that ain't that smart. That he's sitting in a room with leaders from different countries that ain't that smart. It ain't just, that was an overall statement. I wouldn't even have taken it as he talking about black people.
But that's the thing, and I think that is, it's an issue when it comes to like politics and it comes to times of elections. People always want to find a way to go left, and then you going left, and then that creates an environment. Then you sitting around complaining. This is why, when you have presidential elections, people like, I just want to go left, and they start voting for motherfuckers don't have a chance, like Jill Stein, and some people voted for Cornel West. But anyway, so basically it's clips over context. If people look at clips and they take that small clip instead of doing the research, in reality, what he was talking about was him actually having dyslexia and him struggling with that, and he's saying he still struggles with it, but he didn't know. And a lot of people who struggle with dyslexia, and we pushing them and pushing them in school and wondering why they fell into school, but nobody is like identifying the issue. And so now take it. Yes, he had a sit down with the mayor, but 70% of the audience was white people. But they looking
really,
yeah. And make no mistake, like.
So he said, I'm just like you, talking to a 70% white crowd, but black people taking it as if he's talking about them.
Now, that's my thing. Does it say more about him or does it say more about you? Because you saying you relate to a clip of a person saying, like, he's struggling with reading and he's struggling in school and he can't read numbers already. So you like, he talking to me. I mean, I didn't take it like he was talking to me. It's just like somebody saying, man, I eat dirt just like you. And he looking at the camera, and I'm like, well, shit. I don't know. I guess some people in the crowd that he see eat dirt. I don't particularly eat dirt, so he's not talking to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not going to take offense, but people just ran with that. And it just shows that, like, man, that we honestly are living in a world where, like, the 30-second clip has more power than the entire story.
Yeah, they say that we're overloaded with information and not able to consume all the information, which is really, it's like learning how to drive, but you only learn how to drive straight. You don't know how to press the brakes. You only getting half the information.
You ain't even getting half on 30-second clip.
Yeah, you only getting a pinch of it.
You know?
Like, y'all act a little bit more intelligent and take the time to be clear on what somebody is saying in the context of an entire conversation. That's why we can't get our black belts in one session. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to practice, and it's a lot to understand.
It's crazy because even when you see how people consume music right now, right? They skim, like, album drops, right? Let's say an album drops at 12 o'clock, and at 12:10, niggas is like, it's a classic or it's garbage. I'm like, damn, how can you consume an hour-long damn album in 10 minutes? They just skim through the first
30 seconds
of the song.
Half of
the beat
the
hitting
song.
or it's not.
And what's so crazy is, you know how you can watch a movie and then watch it again and see it from a whole different other perspective. Mm-hmm. You can see some scenes or hear some words. Oh, I didn't know he said that. So like, we got to slow the fuck down, man, and take time to really read the entire article rather than that one headline that drew you to it and for you to make a fucking assumption. I'm so tired of you assuming, motherfuckers. I don't know what to do.
When you assume, you know what you do.
Yeah, you should be, all you assumers should be on opinions alike because it make you an asshole.
People they had their opinion. Some people be, you know, which brings us to the opinions of the week.
Oh, Lord.
My whole opinion of the week is let's talk about, you know, living through clips. My whole opinion is think about the bigger picture. Said this before. You can't pass judgment or approach somebody or say certain things on the internet based on the clip or based on your perception of the person. I say that because when we're talking about the issue, the thing that people have with Gavin Newsom, and I defended it saying, hey, look at the entire interview and talk about and understand the context. People were on my page and on my social and was like, oh, of course this coon is going to defend.
Somebody called you a coon?
Oh, he called me a coon. And I had time.
Of course.
And I had time.
Of course this coon?
He was like, of course this coon, you know what I mean, coon behavior gonna come defend the white man XYZ. And I had time for him. I let him know, like, hey, I don't know you. You on my page talking to me, but you don't motherfucking know me. Don't come on my page talking about this coon shit, because I can talk to you about coon shit. I got a company that every year employs at least 25 to 4,000 black people every year. You know what I mean? If that's coon behavior, you know what I mean? I put back, you know what I mean, in my community. I love my folks, but I don't have to defend the coon behavior. And I looked at this page and shit, I ain't even gonna say who you was married to, but she ain't look like us. You know what I'm saying? But that's just your life. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna even call you no coon based on predicating on who you love, but let's talk about the clips and context, because a lot of times, man, people take things out of context based on these small clips, based on these blogs and certain things in these blogs. You know, I just realized that, you know, I seen blogs or social media sites that are extremely popular, and I'm thinking, you know, it's they black in their name and other community. Now come to find out, I'm like, hold on. Damn, it's not even ran by
for us or by us.
It's
for us, but it ain't by us.
It ain't by us. So I'm like, okay, so you basically doing the Trojan horse, trying to infiltrate like the community, coming in as a friend.
It's so easy to infiltrate our community, though. It's so easy to infiltrate our brains. The revolution will not be televised, man. It all starts in the mind. It all starts in the way we fucking think, man. And it's a sad day, bro.
Sad day. So that's my thing, man. Y'all go do a deeper dive before you make your assumptions or before you form your opinion on something, and you're not educated on.
Mr. Brown from Brown Barber College used to always say, "The blind leading the blind."
I've learned.
Rest in peace, Mr.
I've learned
Brown.
I've learned a lesson, and I'll use the bike as an example. I was told, I was like, all right, I'm riding. You ain't getting full, the full capability of the ride unless you get clip-ins. So I go and get clip-ins, right? And I'm like, okay, I tried the clip-ins. I rode around the parking lot and I tried the clip-ins I could ride. But I wasn't educated on the,
mechanics.
Not the mechanics, but the toughness of the
mechanics.
That's called the mechanics of the clip-ins.
The mechanics.
So I wasn't educated on the
levels of beginner clip-ins.
Yeah.
Pro.
Yeah. And so I took a fall, and the clip-ins didn't clip out, and I'm like, damn.
The clip-ins.
But I didn't know that I thought in my mind, I'm thinking all of them are the same. I didn't know it was a level of tightness,
resistance.
As far as the clip-ins. And I paid the tough price.
Price.
You know what I mean? And that just
hurt my heart.
That just goes to show you that,
Are you really acknowledging that you didn't listen to me?
No. You told I listened to you and I got the clip-ins.
You didn't listen to me in totality, though.
You didn't. I'm going with a professional.
Maurice?
What are you talking about? What are you saying about that? Because you also the person that told me as I'm grimacing on Peachtree.
No, let's not.
Nigga told me to get up
let's
and
not
ride it
go
home.
to that.
I'm hurt.
I told you specifically on numerous occasions, take it to the bike shop, get these particular color-coded cages or whatever they're called, because they're for the less experienced and they're easier to get out. And I said, make sure that they make it very loose. But you let somebody else do it who skipped that part. And so when you finally, no, he's not professional. Don't put that on him.
Who I'm thinking is a professional.
Yeah, but again,
I didn't know he was. I didn't know it was not. We went to the,
and this lands to your point. This lands to your point. Get all the information. Yeah. That's all he's saying. Get all the information.
I'm thinking he knows.
I'm thinking you're understanding what I'm saying, but you didn't. You really didn't. Yeah. I get it.
Okay.
I get it now. That's why I just asked. Are you?
I ain't looking at Carter. I'm thinking oh shit, this the professional. Shit, he the one who told me the bike. He is the cream of the crop as it pertains to knowing this bike thing. Now he know the bikes.
Hold on now.
He know the
Tony
bikes.
or Carter?
No, Tony.
Okay, yeah.
Who put the clip-ins on?
No,
I said I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't go to Carter and them, so I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm saying so I went.
Yeah, that was a fine detail. that was that little the little small line at the bottom of the page.
What Carter say? He said he took a fall. Said who put your clip-ins in, Carter? He said who put them on? Carter said Tony.
Look. What they used to do on our game, they do like this.
And I didn't even
Tony, you forgot to loosen that little screw up underneath there.
I didn't even get to say who put the joints up.
Pop on out of that thing. My man gotta have reconstructive surgery and all type of shit.
Like, damn, man. Yeah, man, we'll get up out of here, man. Shout out to man. This has been Opinions. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on our socials. Normally we would have the questions of the week, and the questions of the week question of the week. Please submit your questions. We won't say your name. You can use a fake name if you want. And let us, we'll let you know. We'll read listener letters and let you know if what you did or whatever is an a-hole or not an a-hole and whatever. It's just, so we do accept like listener letters and, with those questions. But
and then don't reach out calling nobody no coons.
Yeah,
but if you do, we might read them and we might tear your ass up.
He had me hot. I say, nigga, cool, meet me here, nigga. But submit your questions to opinionsalikepod@gmail.com.
Questions or comments, right?
Yeah, questions or comments. Shout out to Tip. Looking forward to that album. Shout out to Baby King, dope new album. What else? There's a lot of new music out. Oh man, rest in peace, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Rest in peace, Jesse Jackson.
Damn. Rest in peace, Grace Lee.
Yeah, you gotta talk about that offline. Yeah. Congratulations. There was just Savior's Day for the Nation of Islam the other day, and it appears to me that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan passed the torch over to the other brother, Abdul Muhammad, to...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't... Oh, man, I gotta go back and check that out.
Kind of passed the torch. He didn't speak for Savior's Day. He let the other brother, who's been by his side for decades and decades. It was like the end of an era. But
this been Opinions Alike, man. I'm Mr. Moetown Lee.
I'm Mr. Bear. Yeah, it's taking me a minute, man. I'm trying to get it together, bro. It's tough out here.
This been Opinions Alike, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out. Mr. Moetown Lee.
Left hand man, Mr. Bear Seal, straight off the streets of College Park.
Welcome back to Opinions Alike.
This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion.